But anyway, I am back. If you are watching on YouTube, I apologize for not changing the stream title. I forgot. Actually, I forgot to change the stream game on Twitch as well. So if you came here hoping to see Stardew Valley, I apologize. It's clearly not Stardew Valley. I guess April Fools, it's not the game you were expecting. Let me just change that real quick. There we are. And there's nothing about what's going on stream right now that relates to the end game of Stardew Valley, so I should change the title here. Sunkern only. And there's nothing different than before I went on break, absolutely nothing at all. Okay, so now we can try Faulkner with Leech Seed plus the extra level. So I'm going to try Leech Seed first because it has lower accuracy than the guaranteed hit of Ingram. And now even if Piggy decides to do the horrible sand attack, I will at least get damage on it each turn. Now it can still switch out, and it probably will when it gets low enough. One more turn will end it though. I'm going to actually use Leech Seed in case it switches. Alright, so basically with Leech Seed, I'm going to have a guaranteed defeat of the Pidgey at least. That was just horribly unlucky. The critical gust. That was not a good or accurate representation of whether we'll typically win. Wade is calling me. He knocked out a Caterpie. It is not impossible for Wade to call you this early with and actually have berries for you. And sorry, I was on break when you chatted and followed. I'm back now. And will not be taking another break. Until I am done streaming for the day, which will probably be another hour, 15 minutes or so. So continue to proceed on 27. And just hope that he doesn't use too many sanitizers. Between Leech Seed and Ingrain, any tackles Pidgey chooses to use will be nullified. Alrighty. Health gains. Once again, I will use Leech Seed on this turn in case he decides to switch. If I can get the Leech Seed down, I think I can win. Got a critical hit again, but this time I did manage to excuse me, I managed to get the Leech Seed down. Which means even if I can't hit him with Mega Drain, he he decided to use Roost, which took away his flying, which took away his resistance. So with Mega Drain plus Leech Seed damage, I took him out. And there we go. That is one gym badge. It took us a long time. And using a potion in battle, which I hate doing in challenges, but I think a exception needs to be made for the case of Sunkern. So we did manage to do it in under an hour and 30 minutes of game time at least. That doesn't include times that I reset, of course. I don't have an accurate real time either though, because I had to restart the stream, so it's not showing me the actual time. You have to go to the Pokemart to get the egg. It's the egg I took to Professor Elm. So he gives you an egg. And this guy is the guy who shows up if your mom buys you something. I reached enough total earnings with her to have her send me a super potion. And the kimono girl shows up. She appears to know things about the egg. Also, because I have a gym badge, I can now buy repels. And I'm gonna buy 5 of them. That should be enough to get me through the cave. So I'm going to go here. And then we can head south of town past where it was blocked off before. Eventually the egg will hatch and we'll deposit it, but actually I'm just going to deposit it now. I don't care if the Togepi hatches. You can deposit eggs into the PC. Okay, so let's proceed. We are about to get a held item that will help us on our way. This guy would have blocked my way before, but now that I've defeated Faulkner and I'm ready to move on, it will give me the Miracle Seed. It will give you the Miracle Seed no matter which starter you took. You can get other type boosting items later, but this one is going to boost the power of grass type moves. As the only move I have that has a power is grass type, then that is the perfect item to equip onto Sunkern to get a little bit more boost on the Mega Drains. Now the effectiveness changes between generations when it comes to these held items. In Generation 2 and 3 it was 10%, but since Generation 4, which HeartGold is, it boosted by 20%. So my Mega Drains will now be 20% stronger, as long as I have the item held, of course. So, our grass moves will be stronger now that that is equipped. I do have the repels now, but I don't necessarily want to use them here. If I were doing a grass type run, I wouldn't have something yet, so I could catch that Hoppip. Grass type is a fairly difficult solo type run. There are quite a number of powerful trainers that are super effective against grass types, including someone who's sort of mad. I don't want to use a Radiant. Zubat is going to resist my Mega Drains, so I'll put a Leech Seed on to make it a little bit easier on myself. Because Leech Life restores health to him, and because I do so much damage to myself when I hit myself from Fusion, I actually just blacked out to a random trainer. I will get my revenge on him, but for the moment I'm going to bypass him. At least the nurse at the Pokemon Center is no longer sassing me. I didn't think I needed to save before that trainer. I knew he had the Zubat, but what I did not expect was how much damage Sunkern does to itself in Confusion. That was something I did not foresee. He is not a spinning trainer, nor is he one of the ones that turns towards you when he hears you running, so I can just walk around him. I love Marie. Such a cool Pokemon. The first time I played HeartGold, when I got it on the day it came out, I cut him Reed. Basically, before I even walked there, I had chosen Chikorita as my starter because way back in the day when I played Gold, when it first came out, Chikorita was one I chose. I knew I was getting another repel there, but now this girl has a Nidoran, I think, and I meant to hit X so that I could open my menu and save. But I failed. Was using so I'm getting some health back and not suffering too much because of the not very effective Mega Drains. But I don't think she's strong enough that I need to use once I've done the training on this route, I may come back and get my revenge. Victor Gina likes to talk. And that's Victor Gina. Victor Gina likes to talk too. Like Victor also likes to talk. There are some fishermen on this route. They'll be using water types, so it is helpful to me to battle them. Finally, we're actually... Once I wake up from the hypnosis, I will finally be able to do super effective damage against something. My speed fell, but I was already slower than this guy's Poliwag anyway. This guy has Poliwag, another one has Magikarp, and the third has Volbeat. Now, Magikarp is hardly worth battling, it gives such little experience. But, every little bit right now is advantageous to me. Like to fight, who is the trainer that you can get his number and you can match it for Once rematches are available, you can rematch them on Wednesday mornings. The time in Pokemon is kind of weird. Morning is 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. Day is 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. is night. So morning is by far the shortest length of time. Despite the super effective Mega Train, I still cannot one-shot a level 10 Goldeen with Miracle Seed. There is a spinning train. This guy does turn towards you if you're running. So he's likely to battle you. I think he is the counterpart to his heavy gate. Nope. There's a trainer somewhere that has a male Nidoran. Wooper is a water ground type, so grass type moves do 4 times damage to it. The good news about Sunkern is that it evolves through Sunstone, so I don't have to worry about canceling its evolution in this run. As long as I don't give it a Sunstone, it just won't evolve. There are a couple interesting NPCs in this Pokemon Center. This guy will give you an old rod, so you can catch some water types, mostly Magikarp. Some others are available. And if you tell this guy that you're picking apricorns, whether you are or not, he'll give you some lure balls, which makes it easier to catch Pokemon while you're fishing. So you get the rod so that you can fish, and something to make fishing, catching Pokemon while fishing easier. There are some other trainers that I'm interested in battling. If you thought Faulkner was difficult with a pure grass type, oh goodness, you've seen nothing yet. Because Bugsy, the second gym leader, has Scyther as his main, and his Scyther knows U-turn. U-turn is a bug type move, so it is super effective against pure grass types, and has 70 base power. And Scyther has high attack. So U-turn is going to take out most Pokemon very quickly. So the fact that I was able to finally defeat Faulkner does not mean I'm going to have any reasonable chance against Bugsy. Which is why I am making sure to battle even the trainers that I don't have a good matchup against. Because Bugsy is going to be absolute hell. If we beat him before level 30, I would consider ourselves lucky. The good news is, there's a good number of trainers between now and Bugsy. So, if I take my time and battle the trainers along the way, then I should be able to handle him. I got Bullet Seed, which is a grass type move. So if I had a slot that I felt I didn't want on Sunkern anymore, I could teach Bullet Seed. It hits 2 to 5 times and does 10 base damage per hit. It's usually going to hit 2 or 3 times. 4 or 5 is just rare probabilities. My 40 base power Mega Train means that its base power is higher unless the Bullet Seed does hit 5 times. It is, however, worth noting that Bullet Seed is a physical move and Mega Train is a special move. So against a Pokemon with much higher special defense, Bullet Seed may still be a better option. Before I go back and battle that trainer, I want to battle everyone before the cave so that I don't have to go back through the cave to battle them if I'm looking for trainers. There is a hidden item right outside of Union Cave on one of these tiles. I'm sure of it. Really great ball. If you can break this, if you have a Pokemon that has Rock Smash, the item behind there is called the Shell Bell. It heals you a little bit based on how much damage you do. This is just a level 6 Pidgey. I can probably take it out in a couple Mega Trains, even without any growth or additional moves. He does, however, also have a Spearow. I would say that is his most dangerous Pokemon. So I will use it so that I am getting a little bit of health back as he affects me. But I won't go for the Ingram. I'll just thankfully, the Pidgey did not get too many opportunities to send attack me. He sent out the Spearow second because it was super effective against Sunkern. And trainers in this game will sometimes send out their strongest Pokemon second anyway. It took a lot of tries, but we did manage to take them out. Now that we're level 19, we can go back and see if we can beat that Zubat. We know we can handle the Rattata, no problem. It's the Zubat that I'm worried about. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a couple growths on the Rattata so that I'm doing more damage to the Zubat when he comes out. The good news is confusion damage when you hit yourself is based on your physical attack, not your special attack. So I'm not increasing the amount of potential confusion damage I do to myself if I use growth beforehand. Sunkern can learn Swords Dance eventually, and that is something you would not want to use if you're fighting someone who's likely to confuse you. I am going to save though. It doesn't really have an actual impact, but sometimes I measure my progress in Pokemon by adding the number of Pokemon I have in the Pokedex to the number of badges I have. And if that number is equal to or greater than the hour number in the save screen, then I'll say I'm having a good run. Now, as I'm not going to be catching many Pokemon, I will not stay ahead of the time for very long. Looks like a 3-shot on the Zubat. Minus any health it gets back from the 2-shot. Still a 3-shot though. Alright. We managed to defeat youngster Albert. Now we are about to head into a cave. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, this is perfect. Caves are full of rock and ground type Pokemon. And yes, there are some. There's also a trainer that has a Vulpix. There's also trainers that have things like coughing, which are poison types and therefore resist my moves. So it's not all sunshine and roses going into this cave. However, I do know which trainers have those coughings and the Vulpix and other things. So I can prioritize the ones that have the rock and ground types and get the experience from them. Hopefully, giving me an easier time against the Pokemon that I do not have as good a matchup against. So I might battle the first trainer first anyway. Alright, welcome to Union Cave. Unlike the Dark Cave, the aptly titled Dark Cave, Union Cave is lit up inside, so you do not need a Pokemon with, you do not need a Pokemon with Flash to navigate it. I'm not going to hit this Seabat, or this Geodude, just yet. I want to prioritize my power points for trainer experience. This guy has just a single Pokemon. It is an Onix. Onix is very weak in terms of attacking stats, but it's fairly fast and has good defense, but not good special defense, so Mega Train is sure to take that down. I will battle the Vulpix trainer next. He's on the way to some items. I don't know how much experience this Geodude will give. I was kind of hoping he would level me up to level 20 before I fight Vulpix. I want this Sandshrew. When I'm doing Pokemon challenges just on my own, I typically play Soul Silver because I don't want to do it by a HeartGold save. So, since I'm playing Soul Silver, I never get to catch a Sandshrew. I have to wait until I get to Goldenrod City and get it in the game corner. But Sandshrew is capable of claiming Cut, Strength, Rock Smash, and Rock Climb, all 4 of the land-based HMs in the game. So I always like to have a Sandshrew as an HM user. So the first time I leave this cave, I will teach it Rock Smash into the Shell Bell. Now I don't think the Shell Bell is better for Sunkern than the Miracle Seed, but although if I were using Ingrain, Leech Seed, Mega Drain, and the Shell Bell, then that's 4 things that give health back. Which seems excessive, and it is, but certainly a good way to keep a Pokemon healthy. 4 ways of healing every time. So his Vulpix is level 9, but it is still a Fire type. So I will give it Leech Seed because it will resist my Mega Drains. Use Roar. If you have the general rule for a solo run is if they roar you into a different Pokemon, you just have to take the game and switch back in. But of course it's also encouraged that you just don't have a bunch of Pokemon in your party anyway. Flash Fire is probably the ability that Vulpix has. So, there's no reason for me to actually come down to this floor. There is a TM down here, but it's not one that Sunkern can learn, unsurprisingly. And I never use X items. I typically just sell them as soon as I can. But I know where most of the hidden items in this game are, so I pick up that speed anyway. The TM back here is Rock TM, which is a not terribly accurate rock move. Most rock moves are not terribly accurate. It has 40 base power and lowers the opposing Pokemon's speed. Trainers that have it, like Roxanne and the Generation 3 games, will typically use it until your Pokemon is slower than them and then they use something else. Which, when Rock Tomb is super effective against whatever Pokemon you're using, it's nice that they only use it for speed control. I will come here and teach Rock Smash to Sancher. And I'll pick up the a lot of places have deals for free food today. Now, whether they're being serious is in question, but usually if they announce deals officially, then it works. That Pokefix used Roar, but none of the other Pokemon I'm going to be fighting have the ability to phase out Pokemon. Alright, now that I'm in here for what I hope will be the last time, let's throw up a repel. Now, because I had to level up so much to beat Faulkner, there is no way that I'm lower level than any of the wild Pokemon in here, so the repel should be perfectly effective in keeping them away from me. This guy has 3 Geodudes. They're all weak. Even if I weren't using the grass type, these Geodudes are not very strong. He's got a level 4 one, a level 6 one, and ends with a level 8 one. One of the things the Johto games and the remakes are criticized for is the level curve. It is not very long before you are far outstrip enemies' levels, and since you're such a high level, the amounts of experience that you have are just not enough to level you up instantly. I guess it's a little bit less egregious in a solo playthrough, because well, they can't because all of your experience is going on one Pokemon. Koffing is known for its physical defense, not its special defense. So with the level gap, I can just use the matrons for that. Being poisoned is annoying, but I'm not going to do the kid. I do have an antidote. I found an antidote. Actually, I'm just going to use the energy powder. I don't like holding on to the powder items. They make a Pokemon like you this. And I feel like giving it the powder now is going to have less of a negative impact than using it later. One of the first decent move upgrades I get is based on how much your Pokemon likes you. Until then, I'm basically rolling with Mega Drain. The TMs I will find between now and then are ones that Slowpoke cannot learn. There's even a move tutor after the second gym that is usually a great way to power up your team, getting a better move. In Generation 2, the guy in Alex Forest gives you TM1, which is Headbutt. In this game, since Headbutt is no longer a TM, he is now a move tutor that will teach however many of your Pokemon you want to know it Headbutt, assuming that it's a move they can learn. And that early in the game, a lot of your Pokemon will still have something like Tackle, so a move like Headbutt is a big upgrade at that point. But not every Pokemon can learn Headbutt, and why would a Sunflower Seed be able to learn Headbutt? I decided to put on the hat for a little bit. As I said in the stream the other day, I actually don't really like wearing hats. But I do have several, and I decided that the Nest hat would be thematic for live streaming. Of course, as I will eventually lose my good hair on top, I'll wear hats more at that point. Still have a tiny bit left. Endeavor is a move that sets the opponent's HP equal to your current HP. Typically, I want to not be on low HP, as Sunkern is the second one. Having low HP, lowering the opponent to my HP, I then just might get taken out first. Also, I have Leech Seed and Ingrain and Mega Drain. I'm getting health back all the time, so having something that lessens my effectiveness, but is giving me health back is probably not the best idea. So we are encountering Team Rocket for the first time here. They are cutting off Slowpoke tails. We cannot go into the gym until we clear out Team Rocket. We can go into Ilex Forest right now without fighting our rival. After clearing out Team Rocket, you can't get into Ilex Forest without battling your rival. But there's nothing for me in there. I can't go very far in there because I do not yet have cut. And the people in there that give you cut also do not show up until after Team Rocket. So, just trying to remember which log file and how to have that. Well, yeah. So once Kurt comes over here, the Rocket is not standing up top anymore. But Kurt, the guard up top took off when I shouted at him, but then I took a tumble down the well. I sent him down hard on my back so I can't move. If I were hit, my Pokemon would finish them. I can't be helped. Perhaps you should know how gutsy you are in my place. 10-year-old child, go fight the criminal organization. I know it's a common thing in the Pokemon games, sending the child to fight whatever evil organizations in that game. But this is, in a lot of the other games, you just happen to stumble upon them and run afoul of them. In this game, there's actually a guy who tells them, hey, you go take care of them instead. So, Team Rocket, typically things like Rattatas, Zubat, Coughing, Ekans, Pokemon like that. The Rattata are of course not a problem, they're Manga type, so my Mega Drain is neutral against them and I can do decent damage. I will probably have to, I don't know if I'll have to heal super early, but I will probably have to heal before I fight the last guy. I should probably just be using Mega Drain right off against that, but I feel better if I'm receiving it here. At least the Leech Seed is doing more damage than it's giving back when you use Leech Life. I'm actually going to Ingrain and let the Leech Seed finish it off, save myself some power points. Actually, I should have done this with growth. Ekans says Intimidate, but I'm not using physical moves, so it still doesn't matter. Ekans is a pure poison type. It probably knows poison sting. So it does, and it got a critical hit. So it did all sorts of damage to me, but okay. This is a grunt that shows up regularly, who is super into Executive Proton. I don't know who was calling me, it was probably my mom, but I probably wasn't too quickly. I usually ignore the phone calls from your mom in this game because all it is, hey, I saw an item and I bought it with your money. I love the rocket music. I will sometimes listen to it on repeat. There might be a 10-hour version sometime we did. There usually is 10-hour versions of fun things. I will, of course, each see the Zubat. Actually, like parents that decides to. I think it's like 3 leaf seed this around. I'll be okay. Okay, it would take, if the regular one does 4 damage, it would take. It will keep me healthy if I hit myself in the future, but I do not. There is 1 Zubat left though, and I only have 2 Mega Drains left. So make sure to get a each seed on it, so it's taking damage no matter what. I return back to myself in confusion. I'm getting weird Shadow Legends notifications on my phone, but the day resets at 7 PM my time, and I completed all of my daily systems. Not really done right now. Yes, I play Raid Shadow Legends, but I'm not sponsored by them. I am small time. They don't know who I am. Alright. 100% free to play. I do not spend any money on it. Also, I downloaded the game but didn't make my account at that time, and then when I followed the link of someone who is sponsored by them, I didn't get any of the gifts, even though I hadn't actually opened the app yet. Of course, they give you a fair number of gifts at the beginning anyway. Several weeks in, and I still have not had a single moment where my experience booster has expired. I have like 4 weeks left on. That's all the mistakes goes up. But I'm not here to talk about Raid Shadow Legends, I'm here to talk about Executive Proton and Pokemon, particularly Sunkern. I am saving before him, just because saving in games is a good habit to have. Another nice thing about these remakes is they actually gave the Rocket Executives names, rather than just Rocket Executive. Each seed is working on this Zubat. I'll try and do a couple growths in if I can through the confusion. Zubat is actually one of my favorite Pokemon to use in this game. It learns Wing Attack at a fairly low level. And bats are just cool. I like to name it Dr. Akira. And I know that it's a joke on Scrubs do enjoy scrubs, but I actually thought of that independently from them. There are probably plenty of people who have thought of that joke and have never seen an episode either. Smog has a high chance of poisoning you, but it also does not have great accuracy. So I'm surprised it hit me as many times in the right spin. Mostly coughing indicated that he's coughing. No defense or special attack for this level, but it is the damage only threshold, so I'll do more damage anyway. Actually, I found that it was 3, 5, 8, and 0. So one more level before I do more damage. So, once you have defeated Proton, Kurt will take you back to his home. He will give you a free fastball, which helps you catch Pokemon with a high base speed easier. And that girl will give you... What the hell was that sound? Sounded like there was an animal in here. There's not, but... Was that the sound of his house and I just haven't paid much attention? Yeah! His door sounded like an animal in my room. But because I don't play the... I don't play the games normally with headphones, so I don't really hear it as clearly. Okay, so now if I wanted to go to the Ilex Forest, I would have to find my rival. He has a Zubat and Ghastly and Kulava, I believe. He already has. All of which, the Zubat and the Kulava have super effective moves. All 3 of those Pokemon resist Mega Drain. So despite the fact that I outlevel him, I should do at least some of Bugsy's gym first. So you move along these Spinnerack platforms, and they move at each intersection. If you take the middle one, you go to the trainer on the right, which is exactly what I wanted to do. I'll try to use the trainers if I can. Bugsy's Scyther is level 17, so despite the fact that we fought every trainer so far, plus some additional wild training, it's not like we're insanely overleveled for the Scyther. We are overleveled certainly. This Weedle might be able to take me out actually. Especially, since he got the poison on the first game. So I'm going to try and reach see them so it's staying a little healthier. Doing more damage at the same time. As a leech seed, I should be able to take him out. If he had gotten the critical poison, then it could have been tight. So you deal. There's nothing if you take the right Spinnerack to the left side. Taking the left Spinnerack will take you forward, but I am injured and poisoned, so I will heal. In Generation 4, you still take poison damage. I don't believe you take poison damage when moving anymore. But if you go down to the point where you would faint, I'll run back and forth a few times to show you. You survive the poisoning, you are left with 1 HP, but the poison goes away. Your Pokemon do not faint to being poisoned anymore. I'm actually going to deposit the Sandshrew because there's nothing for me to Rock Smash here, and if I faint against a Pokemon, I want to black out immediately instead of having to just like defense curl until it takes out my Sandshrew. So this next bug catcher, he has the beetle family, the whole beetle family, including Beedrill. I do have some concerns as to whether I can actually defeat a Beedrill. I may not even be able to make it to Bugsy, much less defeat him. But if he sends out the Container second instead of the Beedrill, then I'm confident I can win. But part of it will depend on whether his beetle poisons. If I get poisoned, that would be a problem. I will rather reach Seed first, do a little bit more damage to the beetle. I did not get poisoned. Next Buddy Drain should take it out. Please send Kakuna out second. Yes, okay. So Kakuna can only harden. I'll go ahead and put the Leech Seed so that I'm doing some damage. But I'm just gonna set up my glyphs while Leech Seed does its work. And with my glyphs set up, I should be able to take out the Beedrill without any difficulties. I have 6 glyphs set up. I will finish off the Kakuna. And I don't think I even need to use Leech Seed on the Beedrill. And I don't think I would need to Ingrain either. Mega Drain should... I mean, Beedrill has exceptional special defense for a otherwise weak Pokemon. But, I can take it out in relatively few hits. He's getting a lot of hits with his fairy attacks. Okay, so there are 3 more trainers up ahead. These 2 are a double battle, and if you only have 1 Pokemon with you, they will not battle you. So I kind of want to go get another Pokemon and battle them. This guy over here has a Paris. The 2 little girls have a Lady Bell and a Spinner. Paris, of course, uses Spine Waves, and because it is part grass type, it cannot be Leech Seeded. I'll put the Ingrain down though, so I'm at least getting some health back. This may have been a mistake. This Leech Life is doing a ton of damage. I'm gonna wipe out their Paris. Oops. I mean, Paris is not terribly strong, but Sunkern is even weaker. Joey took out a Pidgey with ease with his top percentage Rattata. I am going to pull out the Spinnerack because I need to. I'm going to pull out the Sandshrew because I need 2 Pokemon in my party to do the double battle, and between the 2 additional Pokemon besides Sunkern I have, the only one that can actually do something that doesn't deal damage to the opponent is the Sandshrew. So if I don't change the path by hitting that blue switch, I go to the double battle. Which will give me a level up and will put me over a damage handling threshold. I don't know that it'll mean much against the Spinnerack or against Paris, but go ahead and Leech Seed the Spinner. Let's go. And Spinner, I am poisoned. So I'm going to drop an Ingrain as well. And also Leech Seed on the Webbie. 2 seeded Pokemon plus Ingrain should mitigate the poison damage. At least slightly. Of course, before long, one of these Pokemon will be taken out, and it won't matter as much, but I'll still get through Ingrain every time. Sometimes they'll attack the Sandshrew, and that just can't be helped. The one that does the more damage because it's super effective is attacking Sunkern. Alright, the Spinner is down. So I'm doing a little less health with each seed each turn. But I am still getting the Ingrain. And a little bit of health back from Mega Drain as well. So I'm staying relatively healthy despite being poisoned. Now, for a bad poison, then I would be doomed, but there's nothing that's going to inflict bad poison this early. Nothing that knows toxic, nothing that knows poison thing. Common Punch sounds fun, but it's still very low. Alright, we reached level 23, but I am poisoned. Sandshrew also leveled up. It happens. I don't think the damage surrounding Threshold is going to make a darn bit of difference against Bugsy. I still think the Eagle is going to be a 1-hit KO on me. The upside to Bugsy and U-Turn is that when he uses it, Scyther switches out into one of his either his Metapod or his Kakuna, which do know their original moves of Tackle and Poison Sting, but there's no guarantee they're going to use them. So you can use that time to potentially like set up growth, for example, and or Leech Seeds and Ingrains and whatever else you think may help you survive the Scyther. But all of that is dependent on surviving that first U-turn. And I am relatively certain that I do not survive that first U-turn. I will give the Ferris Trainer another shot. So that I've leveled up, and I know that he's likely going to use Stun Spore and then Leech Seed. I know that my ideal move is just to attack. If he paralyzes me and then just hits me with the Leech Strike, I'm going to lose. Now, this trainer is optional. I could choose to try and battle Bugsy. Okay, that's even worse than I thought. A Leech Life fully restores its HP after a single Mega Drain. So I'm going to do a couple bursts to see if I can do a little bit more damage, and hopefully keeps missing powders. If he misses the poison powders and Stun Spores, and doesn't use Leech Life exclusively, then I'm in a better situation. He's using a lot of Scratch. So there's no reason I should have won that battle. I just got lucky with his randomized move selection. Given the choice between the two of them, I'll take the CC Crocodile. I will try the rival battle first. You can buy charcoal in this town if you have a fire type, but it costs 9,800 Poké Dollars, and I don't know how you would have that much this early, unless you like traded in a Pokemon with an amulet coin and like a Meowth with payday. Otherwise, I don't see how you could possibly have that much money this early. I mean, we've lost a bunch of battles. I guess you would have 9,800 if you don't lose too much. But you get a free charcoal after the gym. So if you're using a fire type and can beat Bugsy without charcoal, then wait until the free one afterwards. Speaking of people that we can't beat. Tell me something. Are you sure the team market is your turn? What, you beat them? But lying. Are you serious? And they said, yeah. This is widely considered to be the most difficult rival battle in this game. There's nowhere to train before it. It's just nasty. What we're going to do is we're going to reach Secret Acid. He used Mean Look, which just doesn't matter. But he used Curse when you lose. Curse takes a quarter of your damage every turn. At the cost of the Pokemon. At the cost of half the health of the Pokemon that used Curse. Post Generation 2, Curse does damage even if you take out the Pokemon. In Generation 2, when Curse was introduced, if you took out the Pokemon, on turns that you took out the Pokemon, you would not do Curse damage. I was able to defeat the Ghastly, which still makes this the best training I can do right now. Because the wild Pokemon are just such a low level. As a matter of idle curiosity, I'm not even gonna bother saving before bugs. I should save the money. I'll save state right there, though. As a matter of idle curiosity, I'm like 99% certain I don't survive a defense. My defense and health are just too low, and Cypher is just too strong. To get the Scythe, Bugsy, you want to not flip that blue switch. That was the first time. Then you want to flip the blue switch here. That means you will not go over to the right. And then if you flip the red switch, you only cross once and go out Bugsy. I never lose when it comes to bug-type Pokemon. I have done several bug-type Pokemon runs, sir, and you lose every time. Even though you can't get the best bugs until after you defeat them. You should just have wrong with sheer numbers. I'm going to use Ingrain because I'm sure you see some U-turn. And yeah, not even close. So I am going to buy a bunch of items. More repels for Ilex Forest in case I ever make it there. I'll buy 6 more. I'll buy an extra escape rope. And I'll buy as many super potions as I can afford. There. Now I've spent most of my money, so even if my rival defeats me 1,000 times, it won't really hurt. The moveset upgrade I get in the next city does not require any money. Though if I lose too many times, my Sunkern may not like me enough anymore. If you use this curse on the first turn, I'm just going to lose. But I can at least take out the gases here. But taking a quarter of my damage every turn, a quarter of my health every turn, just isn't sustainable. The only downside is I have to see this healing animation every single time I lose. Blackout training is not something I'm used to. Most runs I can win within a couple tries. But I know that I'm nowhere close to surviving the turn. And I don't think I'm particularly close to being my level. So as long as I can defeat the Ghastly, I'm at least being a little bit more experienced than the extremely low level wild trains or the wild Pokemon combined. I wonder if I use, well, if I hit myself with confusion, it doesn't matter. I can't do much damage to the Zubat with Mega Drain, so I was going to see if some combination of Leech Seed and Mega Drain would at least let me get to his final Pokemon, but for the time being, it looks like Ghastly is the only one I'm going to take out. Honestly, I don't see myself doing this before like level 30. Being able to do that high to get past enough damage running thresholds to actually deal reasonable damage to the Zubat and just have a little bit more survivability. Without a critical hit, I then have to take 2 hits to take out the Ghastly even. And I don't see him not using hits too much. I was trying to use Leech Seed, but I still use Growth. Because I arrowed it down to the right. Well, one more go through will. Am I even losing any money at this point? I think I'm completely out. Or I have so little that either I'm completely out of money or there's a threshold below which you do not lose anymore. No, I lost what I had. So, this time, taking out the Ghastly, we will level up. We are pretty close to a level. If I wanted to, I could battle like a couple wild Pokemon. I'm so close to leveling up right now. I'm looking down at numbers in OBS, and it's beautiful that I'm using like 3% of my CPU right now. What the heck? He switched into Koala? He decided that blackout training is just not acceptable on him, and decided to switch out the Ghastly before I took it out. Wow, you really are a jerk, aren't you? Well, I'll go into the cave, I'll go into the Union Cave, because it can be Geodude or Sandshrew in there that I can both pick up with one hit. The Slowpoke well can of course be Slowpoke, which is something that's important to remember for what I can remember in the future. Which Slowpoke there. Let's keep Geodude, go up to level 24, and I will fulfill my idle curiosity of if by some crazy random happenstance, if I happen to be one level away from surviving U-turn. I don't think that is the case. I haven't run the damage calculations. There are programs that would do that for me, or I could crunch numbers myself. I don't really want to do either. But I could figure out at what level I would need to be to guarantee survive Scyther's U-turn. Because Bugsy's stats are fixed, so I know Scyther's attack value and everything. And I can see my own stats. So we know we'd be able to calculate how much U-turn does at each level. And figure out an estimated level I would need to be. I'm going to guess that with this particular Sunkern, despite its plus defense nature, that level 24 is not the level. I don't even think it was worth checking if it was a damage range. I think it's just a flat out one shot. And despite being a higher level, it wasn't a damage rounding threshold or anything, so I don't think that I have reduced the post-curse hits against Ghastly down to 1 unless I do a point like that. But the fact of the matter still remains that I'm cursed, so I'm losing health every turn, and I can't do very much damage to Zubat. Even with Leech Seed and E-Ray, I'm losing more damage to Curse than I'm getting back. And you can still easily take me out with a bite. So yes, I think I would probably need to be around level 30 to beat either of these trainers. But it's April 1st, and if you thought that the first Pokemon solo run I ever did for the challenge was actually going to be a Sunkern, no chance. April Fools, I'm doing something else on Friday. Different Pokemon, and I will see you then.